Swastiastu. My name is Ardhi Permana, and today I would like to talk about my article, The Effects of Smartphone Addiction on Learning, a Meta-Analysis. So, this article is published in Computer in Human Behavior Reports 2021 and written by Femi Olusola, and Patricia. So before we jump into the research question, we have to know what why would the writer want to write this is because smartphone use is increasing a lot among students, and many teachers and researchers are worried it might hurt learning. But individual studies give different results. Some said phones are a big problems, while others said the effect is small. So now let's jump to the research question. So does smartphone addiction have a negative effect on students' academic performance and learning abilities? This article is a meta-analysis of 44 studies that looked at how smartphone addiction affects student learning. It found that students who are addicted to their phones tend to have lower grades and struggle with focus, memory, thinking skills. Most of the students studied were in college. And what did they find there? So the results showed that students who are addicted to smartphones tend to do worse in school. They get lower grades and have more troubles to staying focused. And the study also found that too much phone use can hurt thinking skills and memory. This means it's not just about being distracted for like few seconds. It actually affects how students understand and remember information. Even when students try to study. If they are checking their phone often, it makes their learning less effective. Now we moved on to methodology, how the study was done. So this is a meta-analysis, of course, meaning that the teacher or the researcher uh, examine or review all the finding of many other studies. So they analyzed 44 studies, including data from almost 150,000 and student across 16 countries. They look for the patterns and overall result from this result. And what I found interesting or surprising. So what I found interesting was how strong the connection is between phone addiction and learning problems. I used to think that checking your phone a few times during study time wasn't a big deal, but the study showed that even small habits can build up and have a big impact. It was also surprising that these results were consistent across many countries, so means there is a big global issue. And what I will do as a teacher, so as a video teacher, this article helps me understand why it's important to manage phone use in classroom. I don't want to be too strict by then for my students, but I know see the value of setting clear rules like putting phone away during lesson or using them only when needed for learning. And I also want to help students understand why phones can be distracting so they can build better habits on their own. And here are the key findings. So, students who are addicted to smartphone tend to get lower grades, like I said before, and excessive phone use affects focus, thinking skills, and memory. So, and also overusing phone can impair concentration, cognitive abilities, and memory. So, now move to the critique and question. So, one critique I have here is about this study is that it's mostly focused on college students. So we don't know if the result would be the same for younger students like those who in middle school or high school. Um, Also the study talks about smartphone in general, so but it doesn't really clearly explain the difference between using phones for fun like social media and using them for schoolwork like learning apps or research. I think that kind of detail would have been helpful by then to make it clearer. And one question I have here is about the kind of phone use. So the study talks about smartphone addiction in general, but what if students use their phone for learning and like for watching educational video or using learning apps? I think future studies could look deeper into the difference between bad and good phone use. And what's the new? article is that it brings together a large number of studies, like 44 studies over like 147,000, and to give a clear and big picture answer about the effects of smartphone addiction on learning. So instead of just one small study, this article uses a meta-analysis to show strong evidence that smartphone addiction really harms academic performance, focus, and also thinking skills. And also, I think this is helpful. Before, the result from different studies were mixed or unclear, but now teachers and researchers have a more trustworthy answer. Okay, I think that's all from me, and thank you.